Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Friday, March 22nd. A very cold morning here in the Mid-Atlantic region. A significant storm threat continues for later Sunday into Monday for the Mid-Atlantic, and that could include some substantial snowfall accumulations for places like D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, especially the northern and western suburbs, and perhaps all the way up to New York City. It looks a little less likely for New England at this time as the storm moves more to the east once it reaches the mid-Atlantic coast rather than northeast up the coastline, but still some time for that to change as well. Let's start off by looking at the water vapor imagery loop, then we'll focus in on a few different computer forecast models for the Sunday-Monday time frame. Here's the very latest GOES water vapor imagery loop. A couple things to point out here. First of all, spin in the atmosphere right here associated with that storm system that intensified over the past couple of days off the East Coast. This is associated also with a strong upper level low that will play a crucial role in the Sunday-Monday storm system. As this pulls slowly to the north and east, it will allow for amplification of this next storm to occur early part of next week, but exactly how far to the north and east this goes is still a little bit in question. Therefore, the intensification potential for this upcoming storm is still a little bit in question now. Right now, the upper level energy that will set off this major storm over the weekend is just now coming ashore across the Canadian west coast into the Pacific Northwest. Doesn't look like a heck of a lot here when you're looking at the water vapor imagery loop, but we'll take a look in a moment at the upper level jet streak associated with this upper level energy, and it's quite strong and quite impressive. Definitely forecasts the likelihood of strong development later in the weekend and the early part of next week. Again, not much spin in the atmosphere right here, but there is a strong jet streak that will support the development of a major storm this weekend. And here's a current look at the upper level, the 500 millibar pattern here. This is way up in the atmosphere, about 18,000 feet or so. Two things jump out at you. This upper level low here in the northeastern U.S., southeastern part of Canada, and here is the energy that will set off the major storm for the weekend into the early part of next week. Kind of strung out right now, but strong jet streak supporting this particular upper level energy feature. We'll take a look at the upper level winds in a moment here. This is a crucial factor here. Exactly how far to the north and east this goes will determine how amplified or how intense this particular wave can get as it moves to the east coast. But this will move somewhat to the north and east as this drops to the south and east over the next 48 hours. Well, let's now set this particular NAM model run into looping format here to see exactly where this particular upper level feature does move, including not only the one along the west coast, but this one here along the northeast coast, the upper level low, that again will play a crucial role in the potential amplification of this next system. Let's set off the loop now and focus in on this. Here's the upper level feature dropping to the south and east. Notice the spin in the atmosphere still here, and this ridge in between will help to determine exactly how strong this storm gets, and we'll focus in on the next couple of days in terms of what the models do with this upper level low. But again, that is a major feature. See how far to the north and east that goes, which will allow this storm to develop by the time it reaches the mid-Atlantic coast on Sunday and Monday. Here it is again dropping south and east. Heavy snow this weekend across Denver, the Central Plains, places like St. Louis. Then that'll move into the Ohio Valley, and a secondary will develop right along the East Coast. Well, we mentioned a minute ago about the strong upper level winds associated with this upper level energy moving ashore on the western Canadian coast right now. And here it is. This is using the Canadian model, and this is just a strong jet streak associated with that particular wave that will set off this storm for the mid-Atlantic region Sunday, Monday. In fact, let's set this off into a looping format right here and follow this as it progresses through the weekend into about the Monday time frame. Again, there's a very strong jet streak associated with this upper level wave, and here it is dropping slowly to the south and east. Again, this time there will be heavy snow across southern Rockies into the Central Plains. Strong upper level jet streak wraps around the base of that trough as this thing moves slowly to the east. Again, very good support in the upper part of the atmosphere for a significant storm to form along the mid-Atlantic coast. come late Sunday and Monday. Well, I thought I would take a look at the NAM model run, the GFS model run, and also a Canadian model run for the Sunday-Monday time frame. This is from last night's 0Z North American Mesoscale model run, the NAM, the 0Z model run for Sunday evening. And there's quite a bit of similarities with the models here, but a few subtle differences as well. The primary low moves into the Ohio Valley. It runs into that atmospheric roadblock in the upper part of the atmosphere, and this grinds to a halt, starts to transfer its energy to the Mid-Atlantic coast, and a secondary does form here right along the Mid-Atlantic coast. Now, the NAM model is a little more bullish than the other models in terms of precipitation. If the NAM were to come true, it would certainly be substantial snowfall accumulations across the D.C. suburbs and the Philadelphia suburbs, for example, on Sunday night and Monday. This is the Sunday evening. Let's now jump ahead to Monday morning. And here's Monday morning, quite a bullish scenario if you like snow in the Mid-Atlantic region. Again, this is probably the most bullish of all the models. So by Monday morning, one consolidated strong low off the Mid-Atlantic coast, cold air wrapped around snow into the I-95 corridor from New York City all the way down through Philadelphia, Baltimore, starting to wind down in the D.C. area. But the NAM model is certainly going all out here for a snowstorm for much of the I-95 corridor Sunday night and Monday. Let's now take a look at the GFS model runs. Here's the forecast map from last night's 0Z GFS model run for Sunday evening. A little bit farther south with that developing coastal low, but the same general theme of a primary low moving up into the Ohio Valley, grinding to a halt as the upper air just kind of blocks it from going any farther, and it'll transfer energy to a secondary low here. Now, not quite as much precipitation output by the GFS model as compared to the NAM model. Now let's jump ahead to Monday morning. Again, somewhat similar to the NAM in that the Ohio Valley primary low weakens, the secondary takes over, it dumps some snow back into the cold air in the I-95 corridor. Not quite as much as the NAM model run, but still significant snow accumulation is likely here in the suburbs of Philadelphia and D.C., for example, Baltimore, perhaps up to New York City. Again, these models tend to move the storm more to the east rather than northeast up the New England coast. So right now it does not look like quite as significant of a threat for Boston and Portland, for example, as compared to D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, and even New York City. Of course, there is still time for all of that to change as well. Now let's take a look at the Canadian model. Well, here's the Canadian model run from last night's 0Z. This is for Sunday evening, the same time frame, 8 p.m. Sunday evening, as the prior models that we took a look at, the NAM and the GFS. We'll increment this on an hourly basis going until Monday morning. Now, this particular type of model puts out the precipitation type by color. Of course, blue here represents snow. The yellows, some kind of mixed precipitation, sleet, for example, and then the rains are in green here. Darker green mean heavier rain, at darker blues, heavier snow. Let's now go forward on an hourly basis. First thing to note is the Canadian is a little bit slower than the U.S. models, the NAM and GFS. But notice here, Sunday evening, now we're going through. This is starting to get into the middle of the night now, Sunday night. Notice snow breaking out here just on the western side of D.C. with a little bit of mixture over southeastern PA initially. But then by the latter part of Sunday night into the early part of Monday morning, generally snow here from I-95 north and west, according to the Canadian model. Again, similar theme here with the primary low going up to Ohio, then a secondary forming right along the Mid-Atlantic coast. Go ahead another couple of hours here. This is by rush hour Monday morning. All snow pretty much north and west of I-95 corridor. Kind of a mixture perhaps in D.C. itself, just to the south and east, but this certainly is a threatening scenario for much of the Mid-Atlantic region, especially the northern and western suburbs of the big city. Let's continue to go a little further here, and it even has some rather heavier snowfall on the north and west side of the big cities going right into Monday morning. Now, this kind of hugs the coast a little bit more than the other models. I'm not sure if this will come out to be accurate here, and I think a little bit farther to the east with the coastal low will bring the colder air and basically the snow a little bit farther east, as south and east as well. So we'll continue to monitor those changes over the next couple of days. Go out another couple of hours. Finally, some mixture here, and again, I think this low may be hugging the coast a little bit too much than what could result here by the time Sunday and Monday roll around. So very interesting scenario. Certainly the threat continues for a significant storm for much of the Mid-Atlantic Sunday into Monday, and there can be some substantial snowfall accumulations associated with that, especially north and west of the big cities, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, even into New York City, and in higher elevation locations. Stay tuned to the SIWeather.com not only today but all weekend long for updates on the early next week's situation coming for the Mid-Atlantic. That's it for now. The SI meteorologist, Paul Dorian.